The Bunker Project, podcast episode number 32.
No way. 32. You're lying. You're lying.
32 is a magic number. Welcome back to The Bunker Project. We're here in St. Regis Hotel and Bar.
Awesome black beers.
Getting ready for the next show.
Hey, now we just do some cool technical stuff because we've got our cocktail maven writing from, not California, but what's that little north of California? What's that called? Washington? Oregon. The Oregon Donor Center of the world. Hey, should we bring up Tristan and just get him to start the show for us? Yeah,
we've got one of our regulars down in, regulars for the past, 4 or 5
Well, he's the
episodes.
cocktail maven. Come on. He's the guy that brought us the cheese toast sandwich. What the hell? Tristan, what was that sandwich? What was that cocktail with the sandwiches? No.
Hey, guys, am I on?
Yes, you're on big time.
Big time.
All right, well, I better start saying something then.
So, hey, Tristan, my question was, what was the thing with the toasted and the cheese thing? What was that cocktail?
Oh, I think that was the grilled cheese and tomato soup martini or cocktail.
Very cool. Guy out of Victoria won the international competition for that. Very cool. Something for Bonnie. We have Bonnie Sainsbury here today, who is a tweet maven, and she'll be tweeting out some awesome stuff.
Actually,
tweetettes. Well, I don't know. We have a tweetette and we have a social maven. So, two little angels across the street from us. Blonde, vivacious women. But anyway, before we get into that, let's talk to you. What's a cocktail you got for us from down in the good old US of A?
Well, let me tell you a bit about where I am.
Yeah.
I'm on a road trip down through Oregon and into California for the next 7 days.
Any particular reason?
You guys gave me a mission on one of the last shows to find a bar on the Wednesday night that had Wi-Fi and that had interesting cocktails. And I didn't get to do my research until probably about an hour ago. I quickly pulled out my BlackBerry. I started looking for Wi-Fi hotspots. Nothing came up. Then I went into a browser and I did a quick Google on free Wi-Fi spots in Grants Pass, which is where I am. And lo and behold, I found a place called J&D's Bar and Grill. And the link will be in the show notes, of course, as always. And yeah, they've got Wi-Fi and they've got an interesting collection of cocktails. And the one I'm working on right now is called Your Next X.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if that is a common drink, but I love the name, so I thought that's the one I'm going with.
Can't go wrong with that. Now, do you have a working relationship with the bartender already?
It's a work in progress, developing.
It's a cocktail in progress.
Let's just say I'm not in Vancouver anymore.
Oh, gnarly. Hey, so apparently you're there. You're on a mission to go down in the state. What are you doing down in the States besides trying to import illicit pornography? I think.
This is sort of a road trip of road trips. Let's say.
Excellent.
So I haven't done one. I love driving the country. I love seeing who I can meet and going into smaller communities and just seeing what you run into. And
sounds like an adventure.
Yeah, it is. Like this afternoon, I stopped off in Portland for a little lunch, and basically just drove into town and went, okay, let's find an interesting little restaurant that's something a little bit off the beaten track. And Portland is a fantastic community, not much different than Vancouver. And I walked in there, sat down at a table, and met two really interesting people. We spent a good hour and a half just discussing a little bit of politics, a lot of culture, and a lot of sort of Canada-U.S. comparisons. And it's one of those little short-term friendships where you don't know if you're going to meet or see these people ever again. We did try and connect through Facebook, though. So this is, again, this is a social media tie-in, which is how do relationships change, and how are we able to now stay in touch with people on a sort of more distant level, but still, if you make a connection with people, how can you then continue to share and continue to interact into the future, even if it's at a minimal level compared to phone calls and the rest of it.
Wow, Tristan, it sounds like you need to drink more.
I do need to drink
You're
more.
just like way too philosophical and meaningful conversation here.
You used to live.
Our audiences.
You used to live down there, right?
I lived in Los Angeles for a while, where I worked in the film industry.
That's when you became blonde, isn't
And
it?
I was working in development departments, doing a lot of script reading and a lot of analysis, and working with production executives and such, packaging projects and working out budgets and the rest of it. And so I still have a lot of ties down in Los Angeles and a lot of friends. So that's sort of part of what this trip is about, is to kind of reconnect with people and meet up
get your stuff back.
Yeah, get your stuff out of storage. Come on, the cocktail kits.
So, hey, let me. I've got a guest here with me.
Oh, I hear. Yeah, you have a game maven. Rumor
Yeah,
has
this
it.
guy's really cool. And again, I mentioned about Portland. Well, same thing happens here. I walk into this bar, go to the bartender. I said, "Hey, you guys have Wi-Fi here, right?" "Yeah, sure. Just set up over there. No problem. Do what you want. Here's a menu. Buy some drinks." And started chatting to this. His name is. I gotta look at my notes because I've already forgotten. Emailed that. What was your name again?
God, you sound like Bob.
Oh,
Minus the
Here we
nasally
go.
voice.
sorry. Bear with me, guys. I gotta keep driving right after this. Okay, here we go. Sitting next to Jack Campbell. He is, get this is an awesome YouTube name, Jack the Panty Ripper.
Oh, I love him already.
So he's got a couple cool videos on there from a game that he's really into. A little bit of a classic. I'm going to hand over the mic and the headphones to him, and he can kind of tell you a bit about his game interests and what brings him to YouTube and what sort of compelled him to put some of this content up there.
Awesome.
So here we go. Handing it over.
Panning it over. So all is that highly technical procedure of taking the earphones off the head, lifting it up with not too much grease, and then putting it on somebody else's head with a little bit more grease. Hey, dude! I was just describing the technical issue of putting headphones on somebody else. This is Bob here, and your name, once again, with the proper pronunciation, please. What? We lost him already.
The Panty Ripper.
The Panty Ripper. Now, do you have to do that with an accent? The Panty Ripper. Or is it just the Panty Ripper? Well, I think we just lost the guy with our weird
here.
conversation.
It's hard to hear the audio.
Oh, is it? Okay, we're gonna turn up the audio here. Andrew, can you just turn up the auxiliary gain on that for his headset? Which would be the mic auxiliary. Sorry, we're just doing a mix minus here, which is a very fascinating technique. You just go onto YouTube and go mix minus, and then there's 4 or 5 of them up there, and people say, "Oh my God, I can't believe these guys are trying to do this in a bar after drinking so many beers." So, is that volume better? No, not even close. He's gone, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello?
It sounds like he's gone. It sounds like
Hello?
CB's. Oh,
Yeah.
Hey, dude. Hey, you're there.
Hey, yeah, I can barely hear.
Okay, well, tell you what, you just go ahead and tell us what you're about, what you're doing, and about gaming.
Okay, all right. We'll have the YouTube where I upload SNES Super Tennis videos, and it's an old school game. It was actually a launch title for the SNES, and it's one of the first games to have really good physics, where the ball actually has, physics in motion while you're playing the game. And I just really respect that game, and it's just an amazing game.
So you're into physics. I play a lot of the
Yes.
physics games.
Yes.
That there's I do a lot of Flash games. Is it a Flash-based game?
Okay.
Is it?
No, it's SNES. It's actually I play a modded ROM where they actually have all the current tennis players, on the game.
Huh. So my question is to you: Do you actually code games, or you play games, or test games?
What was that? Can you repeat that?
Well, do you test games, or do you code games?
I would say I'm a game connoisseur. I like good games where the physics is what I really look for, and then if the gameplay is solid, I tend to enjoy it.
Okay, so yeah, I can see the algorithm of physics and the eloquence of code that works well. Now, my next question is, since you're with our Cocktail Maven, What are you drinking?
I'm actually drinking a Jack on the Rocks right now. I just had a Bloody Mary and a Guinness right before that.
Oh, good
Guinness,
stuff.
nice combo.
We like the
Killer
dark,
combo.
we like the dark beer at the Bunker Project.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Oregon is a great place for good beer.
okay, well, we're down with that. Are there any local dark beers?
Any dark beers here in Oregon?
Yeah, that they manufacture themselves.
Yeah, I would recommend either the Deschutes Brewery, or Ninkasi out of Eugene.
Cool. And then like one quick question here. Obviously, you must have a Twitter account because you're a gamer.
Well, yeah.
Maybe. No. How many followers? Just giving you a
It's,
hard time.
It's actually the same as my YouTube account name, without the PA at the end.
Okay. And do you have a lot of followers?
No, I don't actually.
Okay. So tell you what, everybody here in Canada, follow this guy. He needs more followers, and we'll get Bonnie. She's got like 1 million people following her. A slight exaggeration. 25,000. She says 25,000. Discounting. So we'll get Bonnie to mention you on Twitter. Do you have a hash tag you use at all? Like hashtag gamer or hashtag nice algorithms or hashtag hash smoker.
Yeah, it's Jack JACK
Yeah.
DA Pant PANTY RIP.
Awesome.
Cool. All
Okay,
right.
dude, can you zap the headphones back to Tristan for us, please?
Yeah, will do. Here he is.
Maybe he's got ear damage. Okay, that's
Hey,
the sound
guys.
of. Hey, dude.
The
Hey,
Drink Maven's back.
yeah, nice.
Hey, hold on 1 second.
Sure, absolutely, man. So while we went to this technical, dun di dun di dun dun di dun di dun. Welcome to CBS.
Oh, hey
We're
guys,
having a
sorry about
technical
that.
difficulty. Oh, I was just doing my little CBS technical difficulty song. So hey, how's my volume? Can you hear me? Not really. Yeah, I didn't think so. we're struggling with our mix minus here.
Tristan, you there?
Am I still on?
Yeah. We just wondered, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Barely or
Barely. I've got a problematic headset here, so
Oh,
I gotta,
okay.
that's it,
I gotta invest in some podcasting
Case
equipment
of
now.
the-
Yeah, I think
Problematic
Seinhauser got a
headset.
really nice set. They're only like $480. So when you're down there, you can probably pick up a Best Buy for $250.
Check out
because
your
of-
local musician's friend. That's probably your best
So
bet. Or
Jack's
BSW.
just stepped away for his evening poker game, but he was quite the character, isn't he?
Oh yeah, not bad. He's into the algorithm of game physics, which gripping. We had people just, oh my God, give us more.
Yes.
But no, not bad. And he came over well
Yep.
for a physics major.
It brings up an interesting new phenomenon that I think is just developing now, and it's probably been around for a while with
Drinking and physics?
old school arcade games. But there's now a nostalgia for video games, for vintage video games, and
Any
there's
particular-
people collecting old
Pong?
machines from the 80s and 90s, home gaming
I remember
units,
Pong.
and
Hey.
trying to find these old games, which I think is kind
Zork?
of interesting.
Hey, I was
Mario
actually
Brothers?
hanging out with a girl, and she was into Pong porn. So, have you done any of that? That's the new use of bats. Sorry, have I lost everybody here? Sorry, I'm just getting the weirdest
No,
look
I'm
from
just
their
like,
close
oh,
up.
Bob knows about that too.
Yeah, it's like bondage Pong is another one I'm into right now.
Have you heard of pornaoki?
Oh, gnarly.
Yeah.
With a plosive. She had a plosive and the pointing on a pop. Hey, dude, we're just way off track here.
Plosive
Weirdness. Like
is
Bonnie
a-
is like,
is a
what the hell? What?
microphone. It's a
I am in a
microphone term.
It's all about social media.
a quagmire
Protect
of
yourself from
weirdness.
viruses.
That's all I can say.
All right. So,
So,
Tristan,
Justin, before you get arrested for inappropriate Skype conversations to Canada.
Tristan, we got to sign off, but have a great trip down there, man.
Thank you, and
Yeah.
we'll see you back in Vancouver in a little bit.
And we want to
Yep.
see lots of drunken shots from this bar that you're in. That's
And the next time we might be back at the Bunker Bar. Who knows?
I look forward to it.
If they ever get their renovation done.
Yes.
All right,
right.
thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
All right, take
Have
it
a
easy,
good
Justin.
rest.
Thank you for calling in. Appreciate it.
For sure. Glad
All
it
right.
worked out. Bye.
Talk to you next
Whenever.
2 weeks.
All right, so
Okay.
he's out of here, and thank you. Well, that's the second live thing, and
We've
Tristan
got
was the
another
guy that
person,
instigated it.
We got another person that was thinking about calling down from. She's down going to South meet Southwest, part of this Canadian tour or whatever. But
Yeah.
hey, before we move on to our next part of the show, I want to just mention I went for Valentine's Day actually, which is also Valerie's birthday, coincidentally. I went to La.
Oh, that's right. You got that deal.
I got some chocolate, and she gave me a really good deal because we did a black beer and chocolate pairing episode. I think it was episode 5.
That was unbelievable.
It was supposed to be a very, very small segment.
10-minute segment, yeah.
It's going to be a 10-minute segment of the show, plus a 10-minute interview that Bob had done with her in her place over on Burrard Street.
Laboratory.
Very, very, very cool chocolate laboratory. And awesome store. She's like totally passionate about chocolate. That's her whole life is chocolate. And I went in there and I mentioned, it's from the Bunker Project and all that. She gave me a really good deal on the chocolate. And she said that one thing she forgot to do is to offer a promotion to Bunker listeners who are in Vancouver.
Ooh.
So
That's
if
me.
you happen to, I know we've got listeners in Australia, we got listeners in the
I will
US,
buy and ship.
40% of you are down in the United States. But for the rest of you that are up here in Vancouver, head on over to Burrard Street and just mention when you go to La. Burrard, what's the cross street, Bob?
Oh, it's Broadway right across from the Toyota dealer.
So it's
that's really going to help a lot of people.
It's on Burrard.
It's on Burrard, just down from Broadway.
Yeah.
I'd say a block and a half, 2 blocks.
Use Google Maps.
Yeah, Google Map it.
Google
Show-
Maps.
show- oh, it
La,
says,
and
sorry,
it's-
I'm getting
it's this
sarcastic
really,
eyes in
really,
the air
really,
rolled.
Really, really cool chocolatier place. It's awesome.
Now,
And,
what's the
she'll
meaning of
give you this-
Shoshola? XOXO lat.
It's Mayan
Yes.
for chocolate.
Exactly, XOXO. So if you just go onto Google XOXO Vancouver, she will pop up as the number 1.
Yeah.
Or you put Mad Chocolate Scientist Vancouver. I think that works as well.
Yeah, and anybody who comes in saying that they heard it from the Bunker Project, and this isn't an affiliate program or anything like that. We don't get any commission or anything.
Well, we do
like
get
that.
chocolate.
But she did come on the show, and she did give us chocolate for the beer.
Yeah, like
pairing.
5 pounds. Are you kidding? Totally took over the show for 55 minutes.
If you go back to that show, it was supposed to be a short segment where we taste some chocolate and some beer and pair it. And,
Oh,
and
let me do an excerpt from the show.
entire show. Go ahead.
Here's the excerpt from the show. Wow, that's fantastic. Oh my
and
God,
then,
this is amazing.
and then Satomi. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
So this is the porn-themed show.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
exactly.
Chocolate.
Orgasms. Hey, anyway,
Anyway,
and you know
it
what?
was
I'm
awesome.
gonna do a big call out to all you international listeners. We don't care. I will do a proxy for you. You email us or you do a Facebook thing. Bob, I want to try that Canadian breakfast. The only thing that I'm going to move is Canadian breakfast because it's that cool. It's the 90% milk chocolate with caramelized maple syrup and bacon to die for it. The
Oh, it was
ultimate
awesome.
Canadian breakfast.
I
It
think
is
it was-
awesome.
it
And
was-
I will ship that. If you send me an email and a large sum of money, I will ship you a chocolate bar, and I will find out what it is, like $3 or $4 for the bar, maybe $5 for the bar. It is killer, and you can take this bar, break it in half, keep half for yourself, but then go around and say, "Hey, check out this is bacon chocolate," and you will literally blow people away with the flavor. It is awesome.
It is awesome. I thought it was dark chocolate though.
No, she actually admitted that it was 80% milk chocolate, which is very rare apparently. She builds her own chocolate. She has her own molds and stuff. This chocolate, when you look at it, it has Aztecian sculptures on it. It is really
the
very
attention
cool.
to detail in
She's
this chocolate is awesome. So I highly recommend
I think Bonnie
it.
has a very new
Head
friend.
on over there. And,
I'll Twitter you for
grab some
chocolate. Ooh, I got 20,000 fans. Please give me more chocolate.
Anyways, I
Okay,
think,
25,
let's,
sorry.
Let's
She's
move
so
on
picky.
to the next part of the
Isn't
show.
that 25,473?
And it's kind of a
24,600.
But who's counting? And 17 and a half. because I have a paraplegic. No, sorry. Oh, that's horrible. Bobby,
All right.
why did you go and ruin the show by saying something like that?
Let's do the roundtable introductions again.
Okay, yeah, we
It's a
have
new
this
show,
is
and we
well,
got
yeah,
some
it's a different
people here.
show, so we're in the same bar. We do back to back. Oh, and by
Back-to-back
the way, this is how many Guinnesses I've had? 3.
I
I get to be at
think
5.
it's adding
Bonnie
up
said
to-
5. She's lying. I had 7. We have 3 awesome mavens. We have our radio voiceover guy. We've got the Twitter lady, and we've got the social maven. Bin. All right, I charge extras. That's how I make my money for those voiceover things. Anyways, I have lost my show notes, so it's up to Andrew.
All right. Well, your show notes are right under your hands there.
No, I lost them. I mean, I've got look, nothing. Somebody stole
Okay.
my show notes.
So what you did is you want to talk about.
Those are mine. Those are my show notes. Mine.
All right. Woo. Go ahead.
Sorry, Dave. I had to say hacking on Google. There's been a reduction. And you're thinking of better algorithm, better security, but nope. It's just because Google has had a lot of people leave it and go to Bing and Yahoo. So they used to be at 60% hacked, and now they're down to 38%. And it's nothing to do with them introducing new algorithms and stuff like that. It's just about Google losing market share or search share, I guess, would be
Or
to
the hacker
Bing
share.
and Yahoo. Oh yeah, or hack share to
Hacker
yeah.
share.
Right. So how many people use Bing? And how many people use Yahoo and how many people use Google for searching stuff? I'm like 100% Google. How about you guys?
Google. 90% Google.
Really? Nobody uses Bing. Maybe it's a U.S. thing.
No, I use Bing 10% of the time.
Here's our beautiful waitress bringing a glass of sugar water for Bonnie.
Thank you, Afton.
Afton, you are so hot. Afton, do you have a boyfriend?
Yes.
Damn. You thinking of losing him? You know, we could send somebody to hit him or something like. Really?
Big endeavor.
She started a big endeavor. So that's a description of the guy needs a lot of work. All right. And with that, another breakup on the road. Oh, man. She is very sweet.
Well,
all
I
you
use,
American listeners, if you met her, you would die. That's all I got to say.
I
know.
use Google 90% of the time as well, but on my Windows Phone 7, it defaults to Bing. So I kind of stuck with that every now and then.
Yet another fault
Unless
with
I
Windows
open
7.
the Google search app.
You can't default it? They
No.
won't let that. Typical Microsoft. Oh my God. Hey, I use Google all the time just because I'm stupid. And I use it for spell check. Because I'm dyslexic and it'll, so, I'll write in a word and the algorithm for, the option click or the right click, it'll give you the options.
The did you mean?
Yeah, the did you mean, thank you very much. Is that Australian term?
Did
Right.
you mean?
Yeah, right beside didgeridoo. Didgeridoo, did you mean? Get the hell out of my...
No.
No, I think you're...
Didn't someone made a comment on our Facebook page when you spelled a word... I can't remember what one it was. But
Actually, that's an oxymoron.
It
Bobby
was,
spelled a word.
yeah,
Is that
it
my
was-
misspelled
it was
a
like,
word? Is it?
seriously? Are you serious?
Yeah, seriously. It's
So-
like, what? What's he talking about solar eclipse stuff for,
So
Yeah.
isn't Google very proud of the misspelling or correcting your misspellings? Isn't that one of the things that, in the top 10, this is what we're known for?
Exactly. Well, all the dyslexic in the world always use Google. I mean, because it uses context. I 3 to 4 times a day, I will be writing something, blah, 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 and then there'll be a spell check. And
Yeah, but they can never get to it. It's always goggle.
Oh, thank you. Actually, probably if you put goggle in there, Google would come up. It's like
Well, yeah.
dyslexic
If you're-
Google.
yeah, but if-
you mean go?
If you're doing
Anyways.
it in the search, in the Google search bar, and not in the
I've
actual
Googled
URL bar.
Google before.
Because nobody
and
does
some-
that anymore.
Well, actually, I did Google once, and it's a underwater apparatus for seeing clearly.
You should misspell
Actually-
Hotmail once. That's entertaining.
Oh my God! You get the big.
No,
I was going to use the P word. Can
exactly.
I use the P word
Yeah.
or the D word? Actually, I can use both those words. I just like to use the D word and the P word because people say, "What's he talking about?" What? Everybody's looking at me with dirty looks. Look at it's not the bondage show. Hey,
Does Hotmail even exist anymore?
Hotmail.
It doesn't, does it?
Man,
It technically
I was
does.
down on Davie
It
Street the
technically
other
does,
day,
but it
and there was
doesn't
this
have
guy. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Power.
They delete all of your stuff, but it still technically exists. They just keep telling you to move it.
You know what? I use Hotmail for ghost accounts. Does anybody have ghost email accounts?
Oh, yeah.
It's
What does
where
that
you.
mean?
Okay, a ghost email account is an account where, I go into Hotmail, I make a Hotmail account, and then I go into Live, and I make a Live account using my Hotmail account, and then I use the Live account to get another account. I get 4 or 5 deep, and then I delete all the other accounts, and I have basically an account that nobody can track me.
It's basically like Inception, where you're going into a dream and into another dream.
Yeah,
And then you're in that dream, you're going into another dream, and then you're going into another
except
dream.
no time differential.
Just get more than one Gmail account.
Well, no, but it's trackable. Like if I have all my Gmail
What are
accounts
you
are connected.
doing,
Don't
through-
connect your Gmail account stuff.
Well, no.
You
Really,
don't
it's
wanna
still
know
very
what he's
easy.
doing.
If you do like 4 emails deep on 4 different accounts, there's no way that you can get found out.
Yes, of course there is.
No.
It's all one system, Bob.
No, it's not.
They all have the information.
I use whiteout. I'm on the screen. I use the whiteout, and
You've been too anonymous, haven't you? You've
Yeah.
read that document.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know.
I-
It's a secret. Don't tell anybody.
So I
okay?
repeat.
Everybody that heard that, forget that I said that, because I could get killed by the CIF.
What are you doing that you need to be 4 deep in email?
Well, it's the special equipment I have imported.
But
And,
you can spoof-
audio equipment. Really, it's audio equipment.
But you can spoof so many things. Why would you do something like that?
I know.
Yeah, why do you do all those things, Bob?
Because I'm an evil, twisted person. Come on.
Actually, I saw a picture
I'm
of Bob.
ill-informed and I'm nasal. I'm
I
very
saw a picture
nasal.
of Bob at a party.
Oh,
It
no,
was
the
like
one
a-
where I'm on the ground?
It was like a transvestite party.
Oh, that one. I was being
And
carried. I
She
wasn't
was
on the
being
ground.
carried by this woman,
Large.
well, this man that looked
Actually,
like a woman.
She
And
was...
he was wearing this oversized suit. And he was
Olympic-
making this face, and the reason why I bring this up is because he did look just like Dr. Evil.
I did.
Exactly.
The
like
twin of Dr.
Evil.
Evil. Actually, that woman, and boy, what a woman. She was the captain of the Canadian Olympic rowing team. She had biceps as big as my hips. I mean, she was a monster. She could bench press 2 of me.
She's not a he.
No, she was just...
sorry, she's
she
not
was-
a she.
She had a verbose body. Okay, so back to the show. Hey, look, if we that many digressions, I need another beer because we just did like 17 digressions in a row. I'm just going to swig this. Oh, by the way, I call these barley burgers. So if you're drinking during the day and you get cornered by your boss, and say, "Have you been drinking?" No, I just had a barley burger. And you go, "Oh, sounds healthy." Well, I'm on a barley diet. So, all right, anyways. And I'm a veggie. So, let me take a look at my notes, sparse as they may be. We talked a ton about phones last show, so we're not going to bring phones up too much today, but I'd like to bring up this new concept product that just came out on the market about a week and a half ago, and it has caused the previous product to plummet by $200 in price. It's called the iPad 2. I don't know if any of you have heard of it. It came from Canada originally, and then it was stolen by Apple about 3 weeks ago. But we're mellow, and we're not going to go to war.
Yes.
So the iPad 2. What? That's all I have to say. That's my review. What?
So what's different?
It
Well-
has a camera, so it's almost as useful as your iPhone.
It's got a front and back camera, except the camera's not the same as what's
It's
on your
thinner.
iPhone. So your iPhone actually has a better camera.
It's thinner. It's
It's
thinner than the iPhone.
Okay.
Actually, on the Twitch show, they said you could sharpen it, take it on a plane, and take over the plane. So it is a terrorist device.
Oh my God.
So it's going to be banned in the
There's
States.
a fellow called Matt Stash who has a series called Will It Saber, and he sabers champagne with all kinds of implements.
He could saber?
Today I posted him doing it with a scythe. So I bet he would try with an iPad.
Oh, right on. Are you telling? That is a great way to go viral. Actually, I want to know when the Will It Blend guy is going to do one, because he has done an iPad. He has done.
When he gets $800. Duh.
Yeah, well, you just trade it, because I know the guy that runs Mac. Who's that skinny guy? Jobs. Thank you. Hey, come on! He's got a great organic diet. He probably
Drink
wants.
up, Bob,
Yeah,
drink
thank you very much. He probably would love a great little juicer. Will It Blend? Let's blend this, blend that. I'll trade it for an iPad. He's probably got like a closet full of them. You know, what I love about that guy, my favorite quote from the guy is they went, and I think it was the Time magazine guy was interviewing him, and he looks at his closet, and it's a closet full of turtleneck sweaters and jeans and runners, all exactly the same. And the guy said, why do you just have the same clothes? And he says, all I do is think about products and stuff like that. My job is to think all the time about Mac products and building the company. I don't have time to think about how to dress. So when I get up in the morning, I have one choice. And I don't waste any time deciding whether I'm going to have a white shirt or a dark shirt. I just put on these clothes. That's my signature brand, and that's the way it is. And I think it's brilliant. And that's why all I have in my closet is black clothes, except for that oversized thing when I hang out with
that was
very strong women that can pick me up.
That was a white.
Yeah, if you friend me on Facebook, you can actually see that picture. Actually, there's 4 pictures. And man, she is hot. I mean, really. For somebody that's 6'4",
and someone who's not a she.
Oh, here, no, it wasn't a guy that made into a guy. Oh, really? Come on. Oh,
Yeah.
would you
I
like?
wouldn't piss off somebody who could pick you up, Bob.
No, she was happy to pick me up. I was the belle of the ball. Actually, the guy that. Oh my God, who ordered this beer? What's going on here? Oh, I did. Anyways, let me just.
Hey, has anybody
Bob
seen
talking
that,
in a nasal voice and interrupting the show because we have a call-in specialist. I'm hoping he will email me again.
We do have a call in coming in soon. We'll bring that into the show in a minute. But
Really?
has anybody seen that?
Mistyping.
No, yeah, exactly. The reason not to get an iPhone on Facebook, it's been going around. You know how, like, on an iPhone, when you're typing a text message, it has autocorrect spelling, and sometimes it brings up the wrong word.
It doesn't ask you.
There's a page. It's like on Facebook.
Okay.
Someone wrote a note.
Read us some prose.
Okay.
Haiku by iPhone.
Okay, here's one here. Your mom and I are going to divorce next month. What? Why? Call me, please. I wrote Disney and this phone changed it. We are going to Disney. And it's a screenshot of the iPhone. And it's just a series of these conversations. And
Yeah, the green bubble and the gray bubble.
And it's spreading like wildfire. And I think the reason is because everybody who's ever had an iPhone or any phone that has autocorrection has experienced some form of this. And it's just hilarious. And some of them are like hilarious. Like, hey, what are you up to? Not much, just defecating outside. Ooh. Why are your toilets broken? LMAO. No, they're fine. I'm decorating outside. Christmas lights.
Well, I want to know, what about these guys who made the autocorrect? Like, do they defecate and talk about it more often than they decorate?
Is that a common word? Does that need to be corrected? Like, do people actually mean to say defecate? Here's another one.
Emos are doing this. That's what's happening.
Here's another one.
It's a plot.
I just figured out how to use cockslap on my iPhone. kind of feel dumb. And then the response.
There's an app for that.
The response. What? Holy blank. I mean, caps lock. Kind of feel really dumb now. Cockslap?
Wow, yeah, that would be going around the campus for days.
Here's another one.
Holy cow.
Here's another one. Todd wants a new camel whore for Christmas. Not sure one to get him. So many options. Any ideas? Whoa. What's a camel whore and what type of options? Haha.
Sounds like a Hollywood assistant to me.
I meant camera bag. I cannot believe it corrected to camel whore. How embarrassing. He is not getting any type of whore for Christmas.
I don't know. That sounds like... Oh, never mind.
Paris Hilton is very expensive. Anyway.
Anyways, there's so many of them.
Who's that?
And actually, they get a lot worse than this. There's some of them I just...
Okay, so we'll put a link. We'll put a link.
I can't read them on the show because
Andrew.
this is a family-friendly show.
Yeah, Andrew, will we make a link to that?
Yes, we will put a link on the show notes.
So we're going to get rampant linkage.
Page.
Excellent.
But let's...
That's an uncensored social underground, right?
At Uncensored Social Underground.
Oh, that's one thing I forgot to say. Remember last show we opened up with Bob being told what, like he's just this nasal jerk that interrupts the show and blah, blah, blah.
And then Marcel, one of a listener who's listened to quite a few shows, came on and said, yeah, he is, but he's funny and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So I took that conversation from Facebook and used it as the script for my animated show notes. So it's our newscaster. The two characters. One looks like the governor from the Yukon. No, from Alaska. What's her
Palin.
name? Palin. Miss
Yes,
P.
Palin and Larry.
Yeah, Palin. And did you watch the show?
Of course I did.
Yeah. So that was basically me taking what we talked about, twisting it a little bit. Did it seem real? Was it good?
I was riveted.
Riveted.
I laughed. I cried.
It became a part of you.
It sounds so good when he says
right.
it. I laughed, I cried. Next Wednesday.
Let's move on to the voicemail feedback from Ivan.
Oh yeah, okay.
We've got
now is this the
listener.
first time we've done voicemail? This is the first time we've done voicemail.
This is his first message he's ever sent us.
No, but it's the first time we've actually featured voicemail back on the show.
No, we had Marcel last week for.
Really?
Well,
I can't remember that.
He talked about how you don't
beers.
How you do have a nasally voice and you do interrupt the show. And you
last week. Yeah.
But you're funny and
I was thinking 2 weeks
keeps
ago.
The show going and entertaining and all this stuff.
I love you, baby.
Anyway,
I love you.
Here's Ivan. Let's bring him into the show. He has a couple questions. He just actually started listening to the Bunker Project and he's listening from the first show all the way through. So he's
Poor
commenting
guy.
on our first show. And we're on show 32 now, so here we go.
Hi there, Bob and Andrew. How are you? My name's Ivan, and I'm calling from Vancouver. I've recently discovered your podcast, and I think it's great. I would call myself a total novice when it comes to everything social media-wise and marketing-wise on the Internet. And what I did is I listened to your first podcast, and it was exactly what I was looking for. But I'm so much a novice that I have even questions on the topics that you covered. So I thought I would call in and list off a few of them, and if you get a chance to answer one or two, that would be amazing. So first of all, my big question was, what distinguishes WordPress, or what would make WordPress a better alternative than, say, the other blogging sites? So specifically the one I'm talking about is Tumblr, which I did some research on the Internet, and it seems to be a very popular site and a growing site. Secondly, is there any pros and cons versus actually trying to get a website builder versus WordPress as a builder? That means like something like Weebly or Wix or some of the other free website builders that aren't necessarily blogs but website builders. Is there any pros and cons to using those versus WordPress? The big advantage for me when I look at them is that they tend to be graphically orientated, meaning that I can actually just, enter picture here and the picture pops up. Versus WordPress, where there's like an interaction interface, the little screens where you can edit stuff, and then you actually can preview what it looks like. That's the biggest difference that I've noticed. But is there any social media or marketing pros and cons for that? The last question I had is, I keep getting confused between what it means to actually buy a domain name versus getting my domain name hosted or having my website hosted somewhere. Can I get the free WordPress and have that and just have it hosted somewhere? And if I get it hosted somewhere, do I need to get a special name for it? These are questions that I would love some answers to, because I feel that they're the type of thing that a lot of novices probably think about, but they seem so straightforward for someone who's started to use the Internet for social media that it almost doesn't come up. So just to clarify, what is the difference between buying a domain name and getting your website hosted? And if you get your website hosted, does that mean that you also have a domain name for it? And if you have a domain name, can you move it to a different host? And what might that entail? And also, if you guys could maybe mention some of your recommendations for good website naming services or good website hosting or blog hosting services. Anyway, great show. I'm about to listen to episode 2, and I'm sure I'll have way more questions, and I'll try and call in again. Thank you all so much.
Wow, I just want to say thank you for the 28 questions.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. We love feedback.
Yeah, that was awesome. I missed a lot of those, but luckily Andrew was taking notes because I was taking pictures of myself because I'm the designated cameraman, and I just realized I had no pictures of me drinking heavily.
And a narcissist.
Yeah, well, and a narcissist too, but I look good. Let's face it, I look really good. Hey, so what was the first question there, Andrew?
The first question is, he wants to know the difference between the different blog platforms like WordPress versus other platforms like Tumblr. He brought up Tumblr.
Good point.
And anybody have any ideas here? We've got
Well,
Lorraine really wants.
Lorraine really wants to talk, so let's just mute her mic. Just to let's see if she implodes. All right.
I'll just grab someone else's.
Okay, go for it, woman.
Well, Google owns Blogspot, which is Blogger. And every Blogger blog comes out of the gate before you do anything, before you put any content in it, with over 300 HTML errors, all of which hurt your Google standings. So I can't recommend Blogger as a host, even though it's free, and I like free.
No, isn't that? Now, hang on, before I just jump in here, how many errors? 200?
Over 300.
Now, what do these errors actually do? Because we're going to remember there's a lot of newbies, me included.
What they do, the bottom line is they interfere with your Google ranking, and they make Google look at your blog and think that it's garbage and downgrade it.
But why would it be that way if Google owns Blogger?
Because Google owns an awful lot of stuff, and they don't have time to manage all of it well. Let's just say that. So, and besides, Blogger is very old. Blogger was one of the very first web hosts, and they really only upgrade it when they have to.
What about like WordPress versus Tumblr?
Well, that's a good one. There are two kinds of WordPress. WordPress.com, which is free, and WordPress.org, which is free to download, but then you've got to get hosting and all of that stuff. And it'll eventually cost you money, but you then again cannot put advertising on it and make money if you get popular.
But isn't it better?
No, I don't
hosting
find
it yourself.
I don't necessarily find. I have blogs on both of them, and I don't see the point in self-hosting unless you're going to be blogging with a lot of Flash, using iframes, JavaScript, this kind of stuff you can't embed in WordPress.
Or you already got a server just sitting there doing nothing.
I like self-hosting for a couple of reasons. One is you have more control over the theme.
Yeah, I'm not a theme geek. I don't care. I'm a writer.
You have more control over the theme. And on the WordPress.com site, I've heard that for SEO purposes, because you're connected to this massive WordPress.com machine, the Google spiders are coming through much quicker than a small self-hosted site over here.
Yeah, which means that you're ranked much higher.
Yeah. So that's the only benefit I can think of other than being free.
Well, and generally secure. I mean, they had a big attack over the past weekend, and they had a lot of outage. I think 4 hours of outage. Which is
they
the most
totally
I've ever
got
seen.
shut down. Yeah, that was from China. And and they said, it's a political thing. Apparently, it was a gamer thing, and they had something like 600 terabytes got just jammed down on them. But it was a game
Everything in China is both political and money. So yeah, that's the worst I've ever seen, and I've been there for 5 years. But an individual site like mine, I'm day-to-day terrified about the poor site because I'm not a security geek. I don't have time to keep up on all of this stuff. The best I can do is upgrade my WordPress and hope that they did it right.
Okay, so my question is, what plugin do you use for backup?
I just basically export the whole thing to Gmail. I'm really primitive.
How often?
Weekly.
I use WP
I only do a post
database
a day.
backup.
Yeah.
And WordPress database backup.
Yeah, that one works fine for me. I get a weekly backup of all my
but we need to talk about Tumblr too, because he specifically asked about that, and it's very popular among a certain crowd.
Huge.
Well, I guarantee that
popular.
the person that brought in this question, we lost him about 5 minutes ago because we got very techie on him. But it's okay. It's good stuff because I'm learning things, so that's how techie we went.
Well, I'm happy to keep it no techie, but you can't fully answer the question and not be techie.
Well, exactly.
Tumblr really isn't a full. It's not a.
Well, what about using Wix? Wix has a blog comp.
That's another question down further. But Tumblr versus WordPress.
Tumblr is really efficient. I have over 10,000 posts on Tumblr. And it took me virtually no time at all. It has, however, no Google juice whatsoever. You can Google for any term that I have used on Tumblr, even ones I've used repeatedly, and it won't come up at all. It'll say no results.
Okay, now I have a dictionary question. Google juice, please define, please.
Google juice means that if you have a lot of Google juice, when you search for a term, your blog comes up in the results fairly high. And even when I search just within my own Tumblr, just within my own website, it still can't find the results. So it's a bit of a black hole in terms of getting noticed, except if you want to get noticed by the New York media, because everyone in the New York media has a Tumblr. And all you have to do is follow them, and they will notice you. It's incredibly powerful for that, and that's purely social. That's not technical at all.
But it's basically the fish of the day.
I think
in New York.
When you were first on the show back on episode Was it 4 or 5?
Way back when. Days of yore.
You mentioned Tumblr as not being a platform for, not being a true. Didn't you say that?
Oh, it's not a full blogging platform. It's very difficult to write full blog posts on it. It's very difficult to write short stories.
Why?
Anything lengthy. It's hard to articulate.
250 words?
It's a narrow column. 250 words would be verbose on Tumblr.
Really?
Tumblr is a picture and one line.
Wow.
A picture and one line.
So
and
perfect United
just
States.
Picture.
Well, a lot of people use it to just repost.
I use it for scrapbooking. If I come across something on the web that I want to blog about later, I just stick it in my Tumblr. And
so
when I did Blogathon, which is 24 hours of blogging with a blog post every half hour, I'd have been lost if I didn't have my Tumblr, because I just went to that and went, oh, I meant to post about that. And then I'd post about it.
Can you set up Tumblr to automatically push out to like Twitter and to Facebook?
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Yeah,
I wouldn't bother.
Yeah,
but there's no point really trying to optimize or spread the word of a Tumblr, because a Tumblr is itself so completely anal unless you're trying to get a book deal.
Really?
Or keep in touch with your hipster friends.
Book deal? Why is Tumblr connected with books?
Because all of the New York media have it. I mean, this is why you're fat, got a book deal. There are tons of Tumblrs that get book deals, and they're all just picture and lines. And it's not your lines that they're buying it for. They're the pictures that you've collected from the web that someone else has taken.
So Tumblr is bad for SEO.
Yeah.
Bad for SEO. WordPress is good for developing a community around your posts. And
it's good for that. It's a good place to put original writing. It's a bad place to do... WordPress.com is a bad place to do e-commerce. WordPress.org is a good place to do e-commerce. If what you want is a professional site just to raise your profile and to talk about what you know about your industry, WordPress.com is good.
Okay,
you don't have to worry about the techie bits.
So just to throw a brick right in the middle of the conversation, there's all these people that make custom WordPress sites. Is that a complete waste of time, or should you just, because of what you were just talking about, just get a pre-existing, relatively active coder and just utilize his template?
It depends on your budget. It depends on what you need out of it. I mean, if what you want is to write, you can just start for free. If what you want is to express your feelings to your friends, you can just start for free. But if you want something that's a little more professional, like I'm looking at getting a custom CSS skin for my WordPress.com social media site, just to differentiate it from the others. And my taste is old-fashioned. I know that. Designers are going to have better taste than I do. So you can hire a professional. You can look at some of the themes that are out there, in which case you have to be independently hosted. There are all kinds of different variations. But his last question, I do remember, was custom domain name. Can you use it on a hosted site like Blogspot or WordPress.com? Yes, you can. Costs you $15 a year, $17 a year, I think now.
It's nominal.
But you can start that way, and then when you grow to the point where WordPress.com or Blogspot isn't helping you, you can then get independent hosting and keep your domain name. That way you keep all of your subscribers. Yeah. Everybody goes to you, and it doesn't matter where you're hosted.
Yeah. Plus you can export all your content a lot of times.
Yeah, from any of those platforms.
Did you have something to say, Bonnie?
Well, I look at WordPress from a business marketing point of view. And in that context, my recommendation always is to go to a hosted WordPress platform. HostMonster, for instance, is like $70 a year. If you can't afford $70 a year for your marketing, maybe you should consider another line of business. I am a theme geek because I don't code well. So there's a premium theme out there that won't get hacked, that stays current for probably $50 to $60, and then you have someone who customizes it. That doesn't mean they code it. That means they customize it.
Yeah, they just brand it to your feel, whatever. Yeah,
that's right. And for the most part, that's about 90% of the WordPress sites that are out there. An awful lot of businesses don't want a WordPress look, so they don't want it a stream of information. They want video. They want podcasts. They want a homepage that looks like a static website. And there are themes out there that will do that very, very quickly. In a half a day, someone who understands a little bit about how to use a premium theme can get a very professional looking site up in about a half a day.
Yeah, and some of them you wouldn't even know that it's a blog site.
Absolutely not. You don't.
Until you went to the blog.
Yeah, you don't have your blog feeds on your landing page. You can switch that all around. It's pretty customizable.
Right.
Okay, so then let's move on to the next question because we're running a little bit short on time here.
Oh my God, we're at 50 minutes already and counting.
WordPress versus Weebly or Wix. So it's unfortunate that we don't have the Wix maven here.
Well, that'll teach him not to show up.
Eric, he's here. He's been here for almost every episode, but he's not here today, and he actually works for Wix.com.
Well, I'll represent him.
And all right, Bob can represent him because he actually designed a Facebook Wix landing page for our Bunker Project Facebook
cool.
page. So if you go to facebook.com/the Bunker Project.
Yes.
You'll see Bob's work there. It's a really cool,
as pedantic as it looks,
where you can click.
I'm going to redo that, by the way.
Yeah, it's going to be all redone soon. Actually, that's another good point here that we can just digress on for a minute. Is as of tomorrow, Facebook is removing support for FBML.
No way, tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow.
Oh, that sucks.
Starting tomorrow. Well, if you've had
crap,
if you have it,
I think is the official
If you have
term.
it, you can keep it.
Oh,
but if you're
cool.
if you're starting a new Facebook landing page, it's going to have to be HTML now, static HTML, which actually is better because it's easier to get someone to code for HTML, and there's a lot more things you can do with embedded video and all sorts of things.
Is that 5 or 4 HTML?
5, I would think, right? Because they've been trying to transport it. They have to be 5.
Well, you may be able to do it in HTML5. But I don't know if it's
they haven't transferred that.
4 definitely.
4 for sure.
5 possibly.
Yeah.
4 for sure. 5 if you have someone that can do it.
Good point.
How prevalent is 5?
Well, I mean, I know Facebook has been trying to transfer over to 5 because they got like something like 15 versions of Facebook mirrored to basically deal with all the languages and the other code that's happening.
I'm not even sure how extensive the changes are in 5.
Well, it allows for video to be played on iPads and non-Flash devices.
Yeah.
Devices that don't support Flash.
I think
which includes all iOS devices and Windows Phone 7 devices for now.
I think it's more of a code issue. I think for the consumer, that does a cool little thing and that's kind of neat. But for the coders, it's a huge issue because they got to recode.
I haven't looked into it closely enough yet to know or to understand what's different about it.
Well, you have to change all the 4s to 5s. I mean, that's the first thing.
Isn't there an app for that?
Yeah, exactly. In Word, it's like change all 4s to 5s. Okay, we're ready to
run
go.
The spell check for that. It's like,
sorry about that, folks.
Yeah. So WordPress versus Wix. Wix is a Flash-based. It's the #1 Flash-based self-publishing website platform in the world.
And it's free.
It's
like
Flash.
Awesome.
It is Flash.
It's Flash 5.
Now, if they do have mobile versions of the site available, so that if you go to the site and it's from an iPhone or a mobile device, you'll see the mobile version of the site. Now, I wish Eric was here because he could give you a lot better details on this.
Do you want me to sound like Eric? Well, I have to say that no. What's his accent like? I can't remember his accent because he's not here. Is that European accent?
The European,
Eric.
Middle Eastern accent.
Well, you know what? We will save that question when Eric comes back on the show. We will pummel him with it. But really, I mean, I've played with Wix. I played with Wix.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's designed for people that don't. Yeah, I know. Frank Wix, nice guy. I played with Wix, and it just enables a person that has no idea about HTML coding or anything like that to play. It's like a sandbox. You can mess around and completely mess up the template they've done and then go Command Z 50 times and undo everything. It's basically dumbed down so much, and I wanted to dumb down like it's dumb.
Well, the example
but basically,
he
you
brought
can mess it up.
The example he brought up is that you see what you're doing right in front of you, whereas
it's a WYSIWYG
versus
experience.
There are an awful lot of people out there who were never meant to be designers, though, and I'm one of those.
Oh gosh,
you
yes.
gotta know that.
Oh gosh,
And
yes.
I can tell Bonnie's chomping at the bit to go.
Okay,
with this
Bonnie, go
flash.
for it, Bonnie.
Go for
Go
One
for it.
word: outsource.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Fiverr, Tenor. There's a ton of sites out there where you can find someone, right, to do small amounts of code for you. We were talking earlier about someone who codes amazing systems are different than someone who uses some HTML to so that your Facebook page, business page, looks more professional.
Well, it's like the 4-hour work week. We were talking about that in the break, I guess, and you can hire somebody full time working for you full time 40 hours a week for like $400, and these are people that have coding skills in the Philippines or in we got
but I before, sorry for but really there is a trade-off, and it's a communication trade-off, and there's a quality of work trade-off, and I remember Shane, he did his book, and he sent his whole book out to get transcribed. And when he had it transcribed, he got this whole transcript, was typed in, and indistinct conversations in the background was all typed in. They spent
they typed in
hours and hours and hours trying to edit out all the junk.
They didn't
because it was just
from the words
because they didn't know it was a different language.
Yeah.
So there is a line, and you got to balance that. But what I like, Bonnie, I would love for you to email me some links to some resources. That would be awesome for our show notes, and I really, really appreciate that. I'm sure our listening audience would love to get some of that stuff. And Bonnie, she has killer content. Okay, dude, you're on.
You may be able to outsource what you were saying about a full-time employee for actually around $250. Oh, and if probably a good idea is, instead of getting them to do a big project first, test them with a smaller one. Maybe hire 10 of them on those sites like Odesk with a small task, and test them, and then hire the best ones. So you probably
before we go any further, this is the first time you've said anything. Why don't you introduce yourself and what you do and all that kind of stuff, just so the audience knows.
Sure. I'm Bevan Bird. I'm a social media coach here in Vancouver.
Cool.
And that's it. That's as succinct as you can get. And well done.
Thank you.
Hey, I would say he's got a great voice too. Does he have a good bass to that? I think we'll bring him in for our announcer.
Cool.
Announcing Vegas.
Okay, so
Vegas voice.
Personally, with this question, I prefer.
Have we done all his questions?
No,
we're
still working
at like
on them.
57 minutes.
We're gonna have to get through them pretty quickly.
No, but how many questions? Now my question is, sorry to interrupt.
WordPress versus Wix.
No, I guess I'm not.
We also have to mention that WordPress has more SEO than Wix does.
Oh, really?
Flash does.
Yeah, and the thing is also you can import a blog into Wix, so that you can get some of that.
Your content definitely. Yeah, it transfers over.
You can get some of that SEO.
But you can do that with anything.
But personally, I use WordPress for actually all of them.
I have 12 WordPress blogs.
And
that's more than me.
Sorry.
Wow. Bob surpasses the Maven?
Actually, here's a funny thing. I have so many WordPress blogs. I was at a headhunter the other day, and she says, just put in Bob Garlic and Google it. Bob Garlic, Google it. And she clicks on a site I'd totally forgotten about. And it was bobgarlic.com. I was like,
you forgot about that.
You forgot about your .com?
There's a bobgarlic.com, and there's a WordPress, and it's really, wow, that's really cool. Oh, that's me. Cool. Oh.
Ever since you went
the weirdest look.
You forgot about .com.
I got the weirdest look from this headhunter. It's like, holy cow, social media is so hardcore.
Okay, so
whoa.
So let's burn through these questions. Domain name
burn, baby,
purchase.
Burn.
Domain name purchase.
GoDaddy.com.
Domain name hosting.
We already covered that. You can add it.
No. This is different.
Hang on, we got a debate. What domain.com?
Name.com.
Name.com
is so much better than GoDaddy.com.
Easier. Oh, with all the crap you got to go through.
It is dead simple to do, and the big-time domainers all use it, and it is very competitively priced. You can buy extensions there that you've never even heard of.
Now, I was listening to This Week in Tech, Leo, and they did one of the advertisers, very interesting, and I'm going to look it up right now. It's a Canadian sponsor, and this is a California show. He said, "Oh yeah, we got a sponsor for Canada here," and it was the Domain. It was a Domain, and he says basically it's awesome because it's so simple. You go there, punch in your domain, you want to buy it, click one button, it's done. So I'm going to look that up. You guys continue the conversation.
Well, anybody who wants to know about GoDaddy can just look up nodaddy.com.
Oh,
and get the whole story.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some bad press.
There's some bad press for
This poor-
GoDaddy for sure. Now, what he's referring to is domain name purchase versus domain name hosting. He was confused.
Who, me?
No, not
Misinformed
you.
Bob?
Our listener,
Nasal,
Ivan.
misinformed Bob. Sorry.
He was wondering what's the difference between buying a domain on, say, GoDaddy or NetFirms or Bluehost or whatever, versus hosting your website, and whether or not you can, if you buy a domain from Bluehost, do you have to use their hosting or can you use somebody else? And the answer is no. Of course, you can. Personally, I buy my domains at NetFirms. Because I've always been with NetFirms and I just haven't switched. But my current host is Bluehost, and I just point the server the name servers over to Bluehost.
Hey, isn't that the one that podcast Answer Man uses?
No, he just switched to Servant.
Yeah, he just totally slammed GoDaddy, didn't he? And then he slammed the other guy, the Bluehost.
Well, he didn't slam them. It's just that he outgrew shared hosting.
Yeah.
And he needs a dedicated host because of the traffic.
So
he went to server.
So I found that when I was listening to Twit today, is Harvard from Canada is now advertising on Twit Live domain name register. So Harvard, please, all Canadians check out harvard.com or .org. I don't know what the heck it is.
We'll put a link on the show notes at Uncensored.
But that's great. I mean, I can't believe this guy's got 250,000 listeners plus in the United States, and it's a Canadian company advertising. We got to call those guys up. They got to sponsor this show. Come on.
And the last question Ivan had
for
was,
beer,
and I think you answered it already. With he said, can you just get a WordPress domain and move and just register a domain and use it on WordPress? And it's you said it was $15 a year. At
it's $17 now.
$17 per year.
So they host the whole thing.
That's for the buying and the hosting.
What about bandwidth?
No bandwidth charges ever on WordPress.com.
Really?
None.
Really?
Yeah, no, I got farked. Didn't matter.
You got farked?
Yeah, it was about time. Sorry, too much information.
Hang on, I'm not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No, I got 35,000. My friend got farked. He got 88,000 in one day.
Okay, what is
nothing?
What is farked?
Farked is there's fark.com. Before Dig, before any of those things. Just after 4chan. Fark was where you went if you didn't dare go to 4chan. It's just a list of fun, crazy things on the internet, and they are the funniest headline writers I've ever seen.
Really?
They are hysterical.
They're just farking around.
Like when what's his name, Turner died?
Yeah.
Ike Turner?
Oh, I thought Ted Turner.
The headline was Ike beats Tina to death.
Oh, gnarly.
And these are just amateurs that write these headlines, but it's just a list, fark.com, of the funniest things you've ever seen in your life.
Wow. Maybe we could get those guys to do our headlines for our show.
You might be able to ask them.
So for $17 a month, you can get
$17 a year.
Sorry, of course.
Cheap.
$17 per year.
It's like $1.50.
You can get a .com, whatever you or .org or whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Register the domain and apply it to your WordPress.com account for $17 per year.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing with Raincoaster.com and RaincoasterMedia.com.
Don't pay for hosting or anything.
Nope.
It's all free.
What about like bandwidth? If so, like 50,000 people decide to download your shows.
No.
You don't get a bandwidth charge?
No.
Here we go.
You don't.
This going to waiting in here.
Put your audio or video on WordPress.com for free. That
without the space upgrade, which I think is $60 a year.
No.
Well, that's not bad. Yeah. For unlimited?
No,
unlimited.
No. Bluehost has unlimited hosting and unlimited bandwidth, but there's a little caveat there. They don't allow podcasters or anybody providing like video or audio podcasts. They're not going to allow that. They'll shut you down really, really, really quick.
I'm not talking about Bluehost. I'm talking about WordPress.
Yeah, no, they won't. They won't allow. I can almost guarantee you they wouldn't allow.
It's like dueling stats.
They wouldn't allow unlimited bandwidth for podcasters. There's no way.
They've never limited bandwidth. As far as I know, they've never limited bandwidth on anyone.
Normal bandwidth for bloggers, they wouldn't limit. But a podcast, this show we're at an hour and 4 minutes right now. If Oprah mentioned the show, we would get, I don't know, what, 2-3 million, maybe more downloads times 60 megabytes. And then all those people might listen to all our previous episodes. So we're talking about a lot of bandwidth.
The support documents say there's no charge for bandwidth on WordPress.com. And I mean, they host TechCrunch, they host Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, but those are those.
There's a VIP of blogs, I know.
Those are blogs,
but the support documents say
the audio is probably hosted on libsyn.com.
Well, where you host your audio matters, but if you get the space upgrade, you can host it at WordPress.com.
Okay, well that's a good question. We'll bring that back for the next episode. I'm fairly certain that you cannot host.
Let's bet $5.
All right, you're on.
So why don't you just use Amazon S3? And then you don't have to deal with any of that.
Amazon S3 is fine, and if your show isn't uber popular, you won't pay overage, but you do pay overage. There is no unlimited bandwidth on Amazon S3. You pay per megabyte after that certain threshold. You wouldn't want to have a podcast show that went viral on there because you would pay through the nose. Libsyn.com, you pay for the hosting of the audio file at various levels, and you get unlimited bandwidth. So you're paying for the hosting. On the other scale of things with Bluehost or WordPress.com, you're paying the premium price for unlimited hosting, but you don't get unlimited bandwidth. With Libsyn, you pay for the hosting and you get unlimited bandwidth. So it's like the opposite. But I've even Bluehost and NetFirms, they say unlimited domain. They say unlimited hosting and unlimited bandwidth, but there's a little asterisk next to it in the fine print because they don't want to pay for somebody who's getting 80,000 downloads on a 100 megabyte file.
Yes, Bonnie, you're going to wade in. Hang on, Bonnie wants to wade in here.
Yes. Well, I was just going to say, if you're that popular, your podcast is that popular as the marketer here.
Yeah.
You should have some kind of marketing in place. So you should be getting some kind of revenue from being so popular.
Exactly.
Now, that doesn't mean that you can be spending money like water, but if you are that popular, you should think about getting sponsorship, capturing emails, having some kind of a continuity site where you're not just popular. I mean, what's her name? That blonde, Paris Hilton, is popular.
I was going to say Barbie, but... Yeah.
Well, okay. So she's popular, and to a certain extent, she was just popular. That's all she did. Now she runs a whole empire. So you want to do the running the whole empire. So it isn't as...
you want to monetize your
You've said it succinctly.
Endeavors.
I think it's very true because that's what Bonnie specializes in, the monetization of blogs.
Show me the money, she just said.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, no, I agree 100%, but at the same time, you want to be careful of what you're doing and where you're putting your hosting so that you don't get an unexpected bill. And if you've based your business model on having a certain amount of hosting and you're getting a certain amount of return and suddenly the hosting cost goes way through the roof, that puts you totally out of whack with what you were planning for. So
I'm just going to have to jump in here. We're at 1 hour and 8 minutes. So we're going to have to wrap up the show, Andrew. Sorry. So what was the last question? We're going to do like a 30-second answer on the last question. Is there any last question here? No? So thank you for coming to the show. And Rain Coaster, any last comments before we run away?
Well, the reason there's no bandwidth charges if you use WordPress.com is they have advertising on your site.
Excellent. We will send you a link to that. Yep. Rain Coaster is going to send us like a...
It'll
excellent. Thank you very much.
Very interesting if they will host audio files for your show.
That would be very awesome. I think when you're small, you've got a lot of options.
And you could have it actually pull into another site. So
I think
still have my
it
doubts.
sounds like a subject for a next show, and I've got like tons of notes here on like all sorts of stuff.
We'll be back again next week. Call
Anyways, like
877-636-1474, just like Ivan did. And
Yeah,
ask
call
your
it.
question.
Jeez, call the damn number, folks.
And leave feedback on iTunes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, the Diesel Bob. Bye-bye.